I would say my Japanese improved by 110% when I started at Oita. No one can tell me otherwise. Interestingly enough, a lot of the foreigners I met, remember this is all virtual, but a lot of the foreigners I met had Japanese boyfriends. I was just like, where did you meet them? But it will all be worth it in the end when you're able to speak to that friend or watch that TV show or listen to that music without, you know, a translation. So just keep that goal in mind. If you see something moving in the background, it is my cat. I don't know where she's gone, but she will be back. So yeah, hi guys. So I just wanted to do my makeup because I don't actually do my makeup often, and I'm slowly getting back into it. Oh, there's a bee. And also at the same time, I'm going to just talk about my Japanese studies and how it's been going for me. If you guys are wondering, I don't know, I'm wearing foundation already. Dr. Gio, it's really good so far. It's been great for me. So yeah, and they are black owned South Korean skincare and makeup brand. Anyway, this is mostly just a sit down and talking video versus a makeup video, so I'm not really going to talk much about the makeup, but I guess if people are interested, I'll put it in the description. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with my eyebrows. I'm not really, actually I may not do anything to my eyebrows because I don't have the brush to brush it out, so I might do that off camera. So instead we'll start off with my eye makeup. I'm just gonna be using this mirror from the eyeshadow palette. So yeah, how have I been doing with my Japanese studies? So I guess just to catch you all up on what that is all about, like basically what I do, and you know, yeah, like why I'm studying Japanese, because I guess a lot of people are probably wondering why I am studying Japanese and what my proficiency level is, where my proficiency level is at, all that good stuff. Really good questions, thanks for not asking. I've been studying Japanese officially for almost 2 years, unofficially for 4 years, and for the first 2 years unofficially I was doing it as part of a club. Oh, I need to get my beauty book, look, my sponge. I left it upstairs inside. Okay, you guys, can you guys see like those 2 marks that I've put? That's gonna be blended out. Like, I actually need that though. I started learning unofficially for 2 years, and in that time I only learned hiragana and hiragana and katakana, and that's it. I did not learn anything else. I literally only knew hiragana and katakana and maybe greetings, very basic grammar, and just odd words, like everyday words that people would use. Yeah, but for a long time my proficiency wasn't moving anywhere. You could say I wasn't learning officially, like I wasn't studying it officially. It was as an extracurricular activity, so I didn't have any tests or anything like that to actually test how much knowledge I knew. But I would say I was absolute beginner for the complete span of those 2 years, and I was just learning it for fun. It wasn't a serious thing at all. I guess I was just kind of learning to know a bit more about Japanese culture as well. And the reason I started learning Japanese is from probably the most common reason you've ever heard, but I first discovered anime and manga when I was really young, and then probably around 11 years old. And then one of my friends told me, hey, did you know that this actually originates from Japan? I had no idea where Japan was or anything about Japan, other than the actual anime and manga itself. But I never really thought too hard about, okay, so it's from Japan, So that means the stories are based on, you know, this or that. I didn't really think, I just thought everything was made up, and you know, it was fun. So yeah, when I found out that it was from Japan, I was like, oh, okay, so if I learn the language from where this originates from, then I'll be able to watch the newest episodes and not have to worry about subtitles, because subtitles are annoying. And I'm sure that's a very common thing that a lot of, not everyone, but a lot of people that are learning Japanese want to be able to achieve, like watch anime without subtitles. So that was one of my reasons. But then I fell in love with the culture. Now, the reason I fell in love with the culture was not because I went there. I have been there, but it wasn't because of I went there. It was actually because I watched YouTube videos of foreigners in Japan, and I became possessed. I went through this whole phase of just binge watching people in Japan, specifically black people, and all the experiences were very, very positive. Of course there were negative experiences too, but what they spoke of never really fazed me, and it was something that I knew wouldn't bother me really as much as maybe someone else. So I was very open to the idea of like going for myself and seeing if it's all that everyone is saying it is, and to see if those same struggles would apply for me. Would it be better? Would it be worse? And I've always kind of had like a very open mind towards other cultures and experiences and people, meeting new people, trying new things. So I just felt like Japan was the right fit for that. So yeah, it was so new to me. And then I decided to choose a degree that was a combined degree with Japanese in it. So as part of my degree I have to learn Japanese, and I thought that would be a great way to actually become a bit more proficient in the language, because what I'd learned before was not even I wouldn't even call it self-study. It was just literally learning more about the culture and maybe a little bit of the language. It was like a Japanese after school club, so it was, you know, we weren't learning for tests or learning to grow necessarily, unless you were taking it seriously, which I wasn't. I kind of wish I was. Would be way further than I am now, but yeah, it is fine. So long story short, I chose it for my degree, and I've been studying it for 2 years now, because I'm in my 3rd year of my degree. I'm in my study abroad year of my degree, and I started studying at Oita University last semester. So last year, 2020, September 2020, and I've been studying at Oita University since, Japanese, and I'm just doing it for 1 year. So I am an exchange student at the moment. Does that look okay? When I started, they put me in beginner, so not absolute beginner. Let's say it in terms of N levels. If you guys know the JLPT Japanese proficiency test, I would say I was put in N5, right? Even though I had like a good solid year of knowledge under my belt, I was put in N5, which is not the very bottom. It's like maybe the borderline of N5 and N4. I was put there because obviously I knew like quite a lot. I'd been studying Japanese at my home university for a year, so my Japanese had improved rapidly in that 1 year because I was studying it properly. I started to learn kanji for the first time in my university. The level they put me in was okay. Now the classes were taught in English, so I was learning Japanese but the classes were taught in English. Then I'm trying to think of the struggles. Let me think about the good and the bad of the first semester of Japanese at Oita University. It was very tough because it was all virtual and they weren't set up for that. I think it's the first time they've ever done online classes. The website itself that we have to like go to, so there's a website, like a portal to get to all the classes, and that's all in Japanese. Thank the Lord for Google a Google Chrome, which just translates everything into English for me. If that was not a thing, then I really wouldn't be able to access my classes, because I did not understand which class was which, and yeah, it would just take a really long time to find the right class. And then we did Japanese classes and Japanese cultural studies, such as anime studies, manga studies, Japanese history, Japanese business, economics, that sort of thing. So we were able to pick different cultural studies too. And I really enjoyed the cultural studies actually. They were really, really interesting, definitely insightful, things that you can only learn from Japanese university, I would say. And I would say my Japanese improved by 110% when I started at Oita. No one can tell me otherwise, because I think having a native teacher, because my teacher at my home university is not a native Japanese. She's not native Japanese. She studied Japanese for 6 years, but she is not a native speaker. And then we have one native speaker, but we usually have that teacher like once a week. And it's just different, you know, like having a teacher that's actually in Japan right now as well. Because even the Japanese teacher in the UK, she hasn't lived in Japan for years, so you know, her understanding of Japan now, like modern day Japan now, is different. So yeah, having a native Japanese teacher is so important, and it helped so much. It helped me so much. So yeah, that first year was okay. I did struggle because I wasn't used to the style of teaching, but the teacher was so understanding and funny and patient with us all, and I wasn't the only one who struggled. In fact, there was another girl who was struggling even more than I was, and we had each other's back, and it was fine. And that first class was full of foreigners from the UK, so I also felt quite comfortable. I wasn't the only black person. There was another black girl in my class. It was really nice, and we all had the same goal, you know. We want to improve so that when we go to Japan we can communicate with people and, you know, build relationships and stuff. Interestingly enough, a lot of the foreigners I met, remember this is all virtual, but a lot of the foreigners I met had Japanese boyfriends. I was just like, where did you meet them? What, how? Like, huh? I was so confused. Like, I didn't really get that. I was just like, is this a coincidence, or is this like very planned out, you know? You want to see your boyfriend, so you're doing study abroad to go see him. It didn't really bother me, but I just thought it was weird. But yeah, first semester, I'm trying to think what else happened in the first semester, because it was not easy. I think the biggest adjustment for me was just was literally getting used to it being online, because not only us but the teachers had to adapt all their lessons to virtual. The classes were super early in the morning, so yeah, the first semester was tricky in that way, but this semester is so much harder, because not only has the level jumped, I feel like we just jumped, and there's a lot of us assuming going on, you know, like, oh, they will understand this, they have to have learned this by now. I didn't do a test to be placed in this class, because I was placed in the class below last semester. It automatically just put me in this class, and I think because of that I'm in a class that I shouldn't be in. Which is okay, like, because it's pushing me, but it's hard, the point where sometimes I want to cry, or I want to quit the class, or, you know, I can't take it anymore. I do need to get my sponge, so I'll have to go soon. So just to finish up what I was saying, my makeup's not done, but I will show you guys how it looks at the end. Like, I just want to finish talking and then I'll show you how it all comes together. But yeah, this semester has been really tricky for me, really difficult. I don't understand a thing that the teacher's saying most of the time. I probably understand 60% of what's going on, on average, and each lesson afterwards I have a big sigh of relief when the class is over. I feel like you know, I can breathe, I can speak. And but in the best way possible, they are pushing me to my limit, and it's good that they're doing that. I need to be pushed. I'm not gonna learn if I just stay in my comfort zone. And even the people in my class, thank you guys for helping me so much, because if you guys weren't helping me, I would be 10 times more lost, probably be understanding 30% of the class. I just want to encourage you guys, like, if you're struggling with a language right now and you feel like you want to give up, you feel like you want to cry, it means you're on the right track. It means you're making progress. It means that, you know, you will become fluent because you're putting in that work that needs to be done. It's never going to be easy. If it's easy, then you got to question, why is it so easy? That means you're ready for the next thing. You're ready to move up. I think I was becoming too comfortable with my level of Japanese, which is super low anyway, so who knows why I was so comfortable in that place. Yeah, it's so important that you keep pushing. You need someone to push you, and whether that's a friend, whether that's a teacher, whether that's an online buddy, whoever it may be. Even I can push you if you need that. If I can be that person. But yeah, please don't give up. And the mistakes that you make, they're not as a big deal as you think. I can say that for a fact because I felt so stupid in so many of my classes. I felt like, why don't I understand this? Like, is there something wrong with me? Do I deserve to be in this class? Does everyone think I'm stupid? You know, all these questions, and I feel like I want to die. And that's me being dramatic, but it's a real feeling. You know, that horrible feeling in your stomach when you make a mistake and it's in front of everyone. But the classroom is such a safe place to learn and make mistakes, and that is where you're going to grow, from your mistakes. And by asking the teacher, you know what, I have no idea, I can't even pretend anymore. It's better that they know than they don't know. Especially if your class is small, I would say please don't be embarrassed, because my classes are like 5 people and I feel so bad. But then I realized, like, it could be so much worse. Like, my class is small and they all understand like how hard this language is, and we're all at different levels. We all have different strengths. All have different strengths and weaknesses. We often forget that when we're making that mistake, but there's something that you know that the other person next to you or across the screen doesn't know. And so we're all learning. We all make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. It is okay to make mistakes, okay? So I'm going to end with that. I hope this was insightful to my journey, and this is really going to be a time stamp for me to see how far I've come. Maybe in a year or so, I'll come back to this video and just see like how I feel about Japanese and how far I've come and where I think I'm at. Sorry, I did forget to mention that I'm now studying at probably an N4 level, lower intermediate. So yeah, there's a lot of expectation put on me that I should know certain things, and I should, but I don't. So there's a lot of like catch up in a way. That I think that's what's kind of holding me back, and I do have a few ideas on how I can combat that. If you guys are interested in my ideas on how I'm planning to do that, please let me know and I will share that with you. But yeah, this is just a safe space, so if there's anything you're struggling with, like what is the hardest part for you in your language learning, or yeah, just anything really that you want to share. The struggle is real, you know, but it will all be worth it in the end when you're able to speak to that friend or watch that TV show or listen to that music without, you know, a translation. So just keep that goal in mind. Timelapse.